Hey everybody, it's Jasmine and today is a very special day. Today is my 5-year anniversary on YouTube. Yes! I am so happy to be filming this video, and for the longest time whenever I hit my yearly mark, I was always like, I want to do something special, but I just don't know what, and I thought 5 years was a great time to revisit my very first video. So today I'm going to be watching my video and I'm going to be trying to recreate the look because it is a makeup tutorial, and I started my channel because I had a love for makeup and I just felt like makeup was my outlet, it was my escape, and it was the only place where I felt like me. That statement still follows suit till this day. I feel like makeup is still my outlet. Whenever I'm feeling really stressed or sad or bored or even happy, I will just escape into my world of makeup. And at that time when I started my channel, I was in a really rough place because a lot of my friends didn't want to be my friend, and a lot of the people who I value didn't value me back. So I wanted to create a platform where you guys felt valued, which is why I comment and I am interactive with you, because I want you guys to feel special and I want you to feel like you matter. So I know in this video I'm going to cry because I'm already starting to feel it, because 5 years you grow so much as an individual and it's just crazy. Like, the whole entire ride on YouTube has just been absolutely crazy. When you have your highs, you always have your lows, and although you guys just continue to be so outstanding and so positive and so optimistic, there were just such a handful of people throughout these years who really dug at me. And I just want to say, like, being on this platform, you guys hear all the time how it's such a mental game, and honestly, I'm a very vulnerable person and I am a very heartfelt person. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and you know, you feel like there are so many rude people out in the world, and it's so hard mentally to remember that there are people here who love and support you. And I want to say that I am so thankful to have a platform here where people just continue to be nice and optimistic every single day. So without waiting any longer, let's go into the video.
Hey guys, so I just wanted to share this natural prom makeup look, because I know that just having a natural neutral look will kind of go with any dress no matter what. And if you like it, then keep watching, and peace out, Girl Scout. So I'm gonna start.
I said peace out, Girl Scout, since my first video. Oh my god, I'm gonna cry. I'm probably crying because I'm also really hormonal right now, but that's okay. But that just, like, it brings me to tears, because it's like sometimes things like really don't change, and I'm like a creature of habit, and I've said peace out, Girl Scout in like every freaking video, and I just don't know why that stuck to me, but it kind of just makes me feel like I've stayed true to like some part of myself in the past, which is really nice. I really don't think I can get through this video without crying. This is gonna be a struggle.
So I'm gonna start off with a primer. I'm just gonna spread that across my face.
So according to my description box, I was using the Rimmel Stay Matte primer, and although I don't use it anymore, it was like a very similar primer to kind of like the NYX Pore Filler, but I want to say it was even more harsh than this. Like, I felt like that primer back in the day really made you have no ounce of moisture on the skin. So because I don't have that, and because I don't really use Rimmel anymore, I'm just gonna use the closest alternative.
With the foundation, I'm just gonna take it and just dot it over my face, and then blend it with the Beauty Blender.
Fun fact, that foundation was the CoverGirl 3-in-1, and that used to be my holy grail foundation. I don't have it, and I don't believe they even carry a perfect shade for me, which is such a funny story, because when I had that foundation, I used to go back and forth from CVS, and I used to exchange and repurchase a brand new shade every single time because I just couldn't find my shade. But today we're just gonna use my trusty NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop foundation because it does match me and it's still from the drugstore. I also still dot my foundation on my face, which I find so funny because I feel like throughout the years, foundation routines definitely change, especially for the beauty community. A lot of people just still use brushes. Some people dip their sponge right into the foundation and then apply. And in the video, I actually did use a real beauty blender, and that's because back in Sephora, they used to have this Benefit and Beauty Blender deal where it came with the white beauty blender and the pink beauty blender, and then also came with the Porefessional. And I used to go back and forth from Sephora's to just buy it, and it would always go on sale because I guess people didn't buy it, and I just had a surplus of real beauty blenders and then the Porefessional, which is why I still kind of quote some primers to the Porefessional, because I feel like that has been my holy grail for years. I was wondering why I was so tan. I'm like, wow, I'm actually really translucent right now. Like my foundation barely even matches me, but it's fine, that's okay. But I was so tan back then because I was actually on the swim team, and I got so dark. I literally got 4 foundation shades darker.
Start off with my brows, and I'm gonna use Anastasia Brow Pomade in Chocolate.
Anastasia Dip Brow in Chocolate. Y'all hear that in the back? Y'all hear that? Anastasia Dip Brow. See, I told y'all I was using Anastasia Dip Brow since the very beginning. I no longer use the shade Chocolate because it's a little too warm, so I switched over to dark brown. Another fun fact about this video, I actually filmed it in this room. Now this actually wasn't always my bedroom. This was actually the guest room. But recently when I moved back in with my parents, they told me to move in from the office room that I was sleeping in and to just move everything into here. So the area where I filmed my first video is actually where my shoe shelf is. So the shelf that's always behind me in my videos without this backdrop, that was where I filmed my first video, and I was sitting on the floor and I was really nervous about the setup. And speaking of setup, I used only natural lighting, and I filmed this towards like the end of the day. I believe I came home from school and I just said, you know what? I'm gonna film my first YouTube video. And I filmed it on my iPhone 6, and I was filming and editing on my phone for literal years, up until I was about maybe 20 years old, and I'm currently 22.
I'm gonna take this light concealer, and I am just going to highlight my face.
It's funny that I took my concealer after I did my brows, but we're gonna do that. Wow, that concealer is so light. I'm like judging myself for using a really light concealer, yet here I am. Oh my goodness. I also did it in like an actual triangle shape. I no longer do that, but I mean, go me, I was bold. I just saw that I tapped in my concealer under my eyes with my finger. Did I really do that? I mean, sure, I guess. I guess we will do that, Jasmine.
We're just gonna start off with the eyes, and first you're just gonna prime your eyes. If you use too much primer, it's just gonna do the exact opposite, and it's just gonna make your eyeshadow run, and no one wants that. Trust me. And then I'm gonna take...
No one wants that. See, I used Benefit Stay Don't Stray primer, and I know for a fact that I did not like that primer. And I still really don't wear eye primers till this day because I find that concealers just do the job for me personally. I know some people have to use eye primers, but you know, I feel like when you look at my videos throughout the years, you will kind of see me go back and forth with primers and then just saying, I'd rather just use concealer. And I feel like that's just been really consistent. I also am realizing I did not go into any face powder, which I feel like I would have done by now, but I do have to say I am not creasing as much as I normally do, and I might want to associate that with me blending it in with my finger. I might have did something, y'all. I might have really did something.
My Smashbox On The Rocks palette, and I'm gonna take this dusty kind of pink shade and put it on my lid.
See, I was always setting my eyelid in place. I feel like when you set your eyelid in place, it kind of just makes it a nice smooth base. Now that palette, the Smashbox on the Rocks palette, that was a nice jewel tone palette, but I don't really like the formula of Smashbox shadows nowadays. Now I decided to go with So Jaded from Colourpop because this is kind of the same color story. The jewel tones, the nudes, the light pink tones in here, it all kind of coincides with each other. Now I'm just going to set my lid just like what Jazzy has told me to do.
Take this taupe color and you're just going to put that along your crease.
A taupe, you say? A taupe? Really? Okay. I do notice that I'm using my really old Beige cosmetic brushes. Now my cousin actually gave me those brushes for Christmas and it only contained one blending brush. So for a while, I literally was doing all of my eye looks with one blending brush and one packing brush. How insane is that? That literally is the craziest thing ever.
So I'm just going to take this flat shader brush and I'm going to take this dark coffee color and we're just going to align that from the corner of our eye and we're just going to sweep up.
Oh my god. So much happened in that one clip. I used a flat shader brush and then I blended it out with the one brush that I had and then I had the chipmunk voice. I was so focused on my video that I did not zoom you guys into the eye look, which I apologize for, but we are just applying that into the crease and then we are blending this out. So I went in with a gold champagne shimmer into the eyelid right after I did this, but I feel like this feels a little bit incomplete, so I'm gonna give you guys a tip on what I would do now. I would take that same dark coffee color that I mentioned and I would take this all into my direct crease. So this kind of follows along your natural crease instead of just staying in this outer corner. It kind of just allows the look to have a lot more fluidity through it instead of just being transition and then the darkness. Then I'm going to take Moonstone from the palette, which seems to be the closest to the shade that I used in the video. And I'm just going to pack that on with the brush because I was packing it on with a brush. And I almost went into like this faux half cut crease type of moment. It's kind of interesting. I also extended this into the inner corner, so I'm just switching the brush. I used the same brush in my video for the inner corner, but I would just prefer to just use something a little bit smaller for more precision. This is a very cool tone brown because I started with taupe and then I went in with the coffee brown. Oh Lord.
Apply some primer to the bottom lash line.
Some primer to the lower lash line. I feel like that means I use concealer because I don't use primer. Okay, Jasmine. All right. I definitely blended this out with my finger, so what the heck was I doing? That's why I didn't set it with powder. Oh my god. I mean, you know what? If you have fallout, I mean, right? There's gotta be a use for this. Why did I do this? Who told me to do this? I don't remember anyone on YouTube doing this.
Alright, and then with that same coffee color, you're just gonna put that.
I'm using this on a concealer brush. I have that brush. It's this one. It's the one that I use my concealer with, and I'm using it with powder. You know what? Guess we're gonna use the coffee color. It's not bad, but you should have some type of smaller blending brush in your collection to really do this step. So, you know, this isn't bad. I mean, it's gonna just look like this, but I feel like it could just look a little bit more blended. So I'm using my Sigma E32 and I'm gonna reapply this coffee shade here. And then apply the taupe shade that I have in my crease. And then I took a black into my outer corner. And since this palette doesn't have a black, I'm using the black from my Wet n Wild BretmanRock Jungle Rock. I can't believe I was so bold to just add black over everything. But you know what? If I were to have my staple palette back then, I would definitely have a palette that had a cream, a lot of matte brown shades, and a black. That would have been like my ideal palette. And I felt like that BH one that I had in that video was like the ultimate palette, but I didn't like it because the formula wasn't super blendable. You know what? This look is kind of cute. It's not something I would necessarily wear, but I mean, you know what? For a prom tutorial, this is kind of effortless. Like a little effortless glam moment. This is honestly a look. In my video, I did this brush trick. Now I learned it from Made You Look, and you pretty much just align your brush to your nose and then you blend like this. Now I personally don't really use that trick because I kind of know like where I'm going now that I've done my eye look so much, but I used to actually use it a lot whenever I was practicing different looks, and I just wanted to make sure that my eyes were even. Ooh, Maybelline the Falsies mascara, that was my holy grail. Because I no longer use Maybelline mascaras, I'm just going to use my Essence Lash Princess as always, because this is now my holy grail. And I simply don't use any Maybelline or L'Oreal or Revlon, Rimmel anymore because they do test on animals, and I like to make sure that my drugstore purchases are cruelty-free. And because I have no idea what lashes those were, I'm going to use Eylure Opulent because it's drugstore and it's natural.
Wow. Okay. And so to same black and a pencil brush, and you're just gonna run that along your waterline.
No eyeliner, just eyeshadow, Jasmine. See, I would have told you guys to use a coal black liner, but apparently Miss Jasmine here doesn't know what that is, and she wants you to use eyeshadow. This method will work. It does cling to your waterline, but let me tell you one thing, it's not gonna stay. Once you cry, once you blink, it's going to move around.
I'm gonna take a lengthening mascara. We're gonna lengthen these lashes. Lengthen, I tell you.
I still say that.
This is the type of look where someone's gonna be like, wow, are those your real eyelashes? And not say, wow, what eyelashes are those? No.
That Stila eyeliner used to be another holy grail item of mine, but I ended up not liking felt tip liners in my 5 years here on YouTube, and instead I preferred brush tips, which is what I'm using right now. No wing.
Tapered brush, and I'm just gonna outline where I want my contour to be so I can blend it later.
I have to laugh because I was using my NARS palette. So NARS had a cheek palette for the holidays, and I was so excited because it was like a bronzer, blush, and highlight, and the Laguna bronzer in that palette had no pigment. I just feel like it might have been defected, but that palette was just not it. So I told you guys to take a stiff tapered brush and outline where we are going to contour, which Laguna is a bronzer, but it's going to be in the contour areas of the face. I'm just using my e.l.f. bronzing palette for this.
You want to slay the game. You want people to know you got cheekbones. You want people to know it's here. It's visible. It's in season. Always in season.
I literally use a Real Techniques setting brush to do my bronzer. I'm switching into a different brush. I'm going to take a big fluffy angled brush. This is my Elysium Yori, and I'm just going to go back and kind of prep my brush with the bronzer, and then I'm going to go in and blend. And this application is so much faster if you only just use this brush. You don't have to outline or anything like that. Although it is easier to physically see where you're applying the product, in the end it takes longer, and this is, oh my god. But this is just going to give you like this naturally airbrush bronzed look. So it looks like I took a darker shade into the hollows of my cheeks, and I'm using the darkest shade in this palette to do that, and I'm taking that on the tip of this brush. And because I don't have that original NARS palette, I'm just gonna go into my single NARS Orgasm blush for my blush.
We are going to take a fan brush and dip it into this highlight color.
We are not taking a fan brush into the highlight. I am sorry. We are going to go into a regular highlighting brush. That was offensive. I can't believe fan brushes were really a thing. Like, I really can't believe fan brushes are really a thing. I'm also using the Benefit Cookie Highlighter, which is why it's so blinding, and I thought that this would be perfect because this is technically a prom tutorial, and I thought, you know what, glowy cheeks for prom is the move. I went in with setting powder after I did all of this, which now is kind of pointless because we already put powder on our face. So all of the powder is the bronzer, blush, and highlight, and I did that whole motion with my highlight where I went on the forehead, down the nose, and on the chin. So I feel like the only areas that didn't even get any powder was this area. So it's kind of pointless, and I'm not gonna do powder over my face because I'm already starting to look a little cakey.
I'm gonna take this lip liner, it's a nude one, and I am going to outline my lips, and I'm going to kind of overdraw them so that they look a little bit more full.
I can't believe I was using my BH Cosmetics nude lip liner. Who remembers this? I have repurchased this so many times. Like, I kid you not, like, this was my holy grail, and I wish it wasn't discontinued because this is all I have left. And it's so sad because I was literally using it since day one. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's go ahead and line our lips. This is definitely at its wit's end because this is not as creamy as it used to be. But granted, this one I've had for like a year, so I expected it to be a little bit dried out at this point. If you guys saw my last empties video, I actually threw out my NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream in the shade Stockholm, which is the shade that I'm using in this video. But because I don't have that now, I'm just using my Colourpop Luxe Velvet Lipstick in the shade Casual Dress. I think it is honestly so iconic of myself to have not filmed an outro, but it's just so funny that I said peace out Girl Scout in the intro. Honestly, I love that. Full circle, really. And as I sit here looking at the screen, I am just reminded of my journey again, and I'm gonna cry, but this journey has definitely been something that I did not know I would be taking. I didn't know I would be stepping foot into something that could be my career. Although YouTube is not my job, and you guys know that, it has taken me into so many directions that I didn't know I would take in life. I knew that I wanted to freelance, but I didn't know my freelancing would get so huge. And I didn't know that I would be able to work for Shiseido as a makeup artist and a skincare consultant. And I think that is so powerful because your passions will lead the way. And I know that sounds really cliche, but I really didn't think that I would be able to make it this far. And I want this video to be a friendly reminder to just keep chasing your dreams and to keep doing what you love, despite if people in your personal life or online tell you no. If you know this is something that you want to do, then do it. And you're the only person who could tell yourself whether to start or stop something. And I'm so grateful that I have just fallen in love with the filming process, with the editing process, with finding new makeup, talking about makeup, skincare. I am so happy that this passion has not fled my soul and that I've just stuck with it even though I may be going through a lot of shit in my personal life. I'm just happy that this has maintained my outlet, this maintained something that I wanted to keep, and this maintained to be my happy space. And I'm so happy that you guys were here on this journey with me, and I'm just really excited to see what the future has in store for us, because This is honestly only the beginning. So with that all being said, I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye! Peace out, Girl Scouts!